This is the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Every New Year's Day, this stadium is the scene of one of the great college football postseason classics. For those Dallas football fans who remember, January 1st has an even greater meaning. It is the birthday of one of the most revered players in the history of Texas college football. His name, Doak Walker. In the late 1940s, Joe Louis, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, and Jackie Robinson were household names. But these were professional athletes. Doak Walker was a college football player, a living portrayal of Jack Armstrong, the All-American boy. Doak Walker had the good looks of a Hollywood movie star. His face graced the covers of national magazines practically every week, yet he was shy and unassuming. History has recorded that Doak Walker was the last of the true college football heroes.
Maybe that was just the time, and news media was a little hard up. They needed to find somebody, and probably at that time, too, that was a romantic area for football and the collegiate level. And I was just probably the fortunate one that fit the picture.
In the fall of 1942, World War II was in progress. At Highland Park High School in Dallas, two close friends reported for football practice. Both would later become football legends. 15-year-old Doak Walker and 15-year-old Bobby Lane. Their coach, Rusty Russell, remembers the first practice session.
I blew my whistle and lined them up there, and about 80 of them in two lines, and I said, all right, now choose your partners. I don't care, just anybody. And we started, and I kept hearing the leather pop, boom, boom, just like a cannon. I looked down there, and there was old Bobby and Doak. They had chosen each other, and they were just laughing like, you know, they were having the most fun as possible, and each one was trying to kill the other.
Bobby Lane graduated before Walker and entered the University of Texas. World War II was still on.
We were just turning 18, and the only thing left was joining the Merchant Marine, which we did. And we spent about a year in the Merchant Marine, and we were living in New Orleans, about ready to ship out, and the war ended. Well, Doak and I had planned to go to Texas together all our high school days. In fact, I went to Texas on a baseball scholarship.
This is Ewell Walker, a former high school football coach. Ewell Walker introduced his son Doak to the game.
He and Bobby both had just been discharged from the U.S. Maritime. Doak showed up here on Sunday morning, and I said, what are you doing home? He said, well, I'm out of the Maritime. I'm going to go to school. And I said, where are we going? He said, either Texas or SMU. And, of course, they had Rusty Russell at SMU, who was Doak's high school coach.
Rusty Russell was the reason he went to SMU, because we'd played for Rusty in high school, and Rusty was going to SMU. And I think that was the crowning blow, but we really had planned to go to Texas together.
It is mid-season, November 3rd, 1945. Freshman Doak Walker's first game for SMU. His opponents in the white jerseys, the University of Texas, led by sophomore Bobby Lane. The first quarter is scoreless. But in the second period, SMU is threatening. Doak Walker has the ball for the Mustangs. It is an historic moment. Doak Walker, wearing number 37, is on his way to scoring his first collegiate touchdown. But Bobby Lane will win this day. In the fourth quarter, with Texas trailing 7-6, Bobby Lane throws his second touchdown pass. The final score, Texas 12, SMU 7. The two boyhood friends walk off the field together. But Bobby Lane has won in their first head-to-head confrontation.
I always admired Bobby. He just loved to win, and there was no substitute but to win.
Doak Walker's maritime service does not exclude him from the military. At the end of his freshman year, he is drafted into the Army. After 1 year's service, Walker returns to SMU. It is November 1st, 1947, another memorable confrontation. Unbeaten SMU, led by sophomore Doak Walker, versus unbeaten Texas, led by senior All-American Bobby Lane. The game gets off to a spectacular start. SMU in the dark uniforms takes the opening kickoff to the Texas 20-yard line. Now Doak Walker takes over. He completes a pass to the 3-yard line. Then he hands off for the first Mustang score. Led by Bobby Lane's passing, Texas comes roaring back. The tying touchdown is scored by another football legend, Tom Landry, the present-day coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Doak Walker is magnificent all afternoon. He finally makes the catch that leads to SMU's second touchdown. Even more, he kicks the 2 extra points that give SMU a 14-13 victory over Texas.
It was quite a game. It was hard for us to lose it. It's the only game we lost that whole year. But if it had to be to somebody, I was glad it was to SMU and Doak.
SMU, led by Doak Walker, goes on to complete an undefeated season by tying 4th-ranked Penn State in the Cotton Bowl. Doak Walker's individual record: All-American, Maxwell Trophy winner, 3rd in the balloting for the Heisman Memorial Trophy. Doak Walker is now recognized by every sports fan in America.
Doak got quite a bit of publicity here in Dallas. Hell, he would, if he took his cat walking, they'd take a picture of him.
1948 was Doak Walker's junior year. The Cotton Bowl had to be enlarged to satisfy the thousands of fans who wanted to see him play. He was again named All-American. But the greatest honor came on December 7th, 1948. Doak Walker was named the winner of the Heisman Memorial Trophy.
I have the honor at this time to present to you the Heisman Memorial Trophy Award, the greatest honor in football. Congratulations, Doak.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. It's more than a pleasure to receive this great honor. I hope that I can live up to the great expectations and carry on as I have. Thank you.
1949 was expected to become an even greater year for Doak Walker. It was predicted that he would become the first player to win the Heisman Trophy twice. But injuries and illness sidelined Walker for almost half his senior year. Nevertheless, he is again named to several All-American teams and finishes 3rd in the Heisman balloting. After graduation, Doak Walker signs a $25,000 a year contract with the Detroit Lions. For Doak Walker, it is a dramatic moment. He will be reunited with his boyhood friend and high school teammate, Bobby Lane. In 1950, his first season, Walker leads the league in scoring and is named Rookie of the Year. Then in 1952, he and Bobby Lane lead the Detroit Lions to their first world championship in 17 years. It is December 27th, 1953. The Detroit Lions again meet the Cleveland Browns for the NFL championship. At halftime, Detroit leads 10-3. Doak Walker has scored all 10 points with a touchdown, extra point, and field goal. But Cleveland comes back in the second half. With 4 minutes left to play in the game, they lead the Lions 16-10. Now Bobby Lane takes over. He completes pass after pass. Finally, with the clock running out, Lane passes for the tying touchdown. Now the try for the extra point. Time has stood still. A decade earlier at Highland Park High School, Bobby Lane held, Doak Walker kicked. Now for the NFL championship, the situation is the same. Bobby Lane will hold. Doak Walker will kick. It is good. For the second successive year, the Detroit Lions are champions of the world.
He's the best clutch player I have ever seen. It was a real tough situation. Somebody had to do something. He would always come through and do it.
In his 6th season with the Detroit Lions, Doak Walker leads the league in scoring for the second time. But at the end of this 1955 season, Doak Walker makes a momentous decision. He chooses to retire at the peak of his career. At age 28, Doak Walker leaves the playing field forever. It is almost 3 decades since the roaring crowds cheered him for the last time. But in this silent stadium, there are sounds from the past. For Doak Walker was the last of the magnificent breed who played with a special grace, style, and dignity when football was a simpler game. And the sounds remain today as a monument to his greatness. For this is a special place. This is the Cotton Bowl. This is the house that Doak built.